opening statement, just anytime I get the opportunity to give thanks, I definitely want to. Thank you. So first and foremost, my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, I'm so thankful to be here. We're excited about this time. I want to thank Dr. Geis and Tommy McClelland, absolutely incredible leaders. I mean, I've been around some great leaders, been very blessed, but those two guys are very incredible to work for. Want to thank our staff and our team from what we've done in the summer. It's been a productive summer. Still have a long way to go. Always got to mention my wife Andy, or she'll get on to me, and so I got to at least mention her whether you use that or not. And then the one thing I want to say is about the excitement that's happening right now. And I've heard this so many times that you wouldn't believe it. Coach, last 2 years we haven't come, but we got our season tickets again. So season tickets are available right now, and we're very excited about the numbers that we're getting, and so we're looking forward to the season.
The word on the street is you started practice this morning with no basketball and with 20-something pound vest on them. Talk about how this morning went.
Well, let me say this. Connecticut won the national championship. They were #1 in the nation for defense. They were number 10 for offense. You look at our conference, MTSU, #1 in our conference for defense, number 11 for offense. And they met Southern Miss, who is #1 for offense, and MTSU won. And so defense wins championships, and we had to do that this morning without a basketball, weight vests on to instill some mental toughness. But it went well, and we'll continue with that.
How the players like it?
I'm not sure the players loved the weight vest, the no basketball in sight, the defense, the rebounding, the physicality, but it's a culture that we got to instill. And the sooner that we buy into it, the quicker that we can actually get to using a basketball.
What's been the adjustment process like for you, just getting to know the team and the players and just trying to establish your culture going forward?
I think the first thing you have to do when you're establishing a culture is you got to get a lot of feedback. And so a lot of one-on-one meetings, a lot of team meetings, and trying to get a lot of feedback from them about what we need. And so I think moving forward, we have the right foundation, and now we got to build on what we have. This summer was a lot of execution. Worked on execution a lot. Now we've got to get our defense, our rebounding in.
What are your expectations just in the first year?
I think the first thing that we have to do in our first year is we have to compete for a conference championship, whether that means in the regular season, in the tournament. With 5 seniors, we're hoping to do that. And I think everybody expects a new coach for it to just kind of tear up just like that. And sometimes it takes a little up and down. Overall, the progress should be up. But with 5 seniors, we're going to be losing 5 seniors, bringing in 3 or 4 freshmen. We are expecting to compete this year at a high level.
Where do you feel you're most experienced?
I feel that our experience with these players is really on the offensive end. We got a lot of weapons on offense. And so it's a matter of getting all of these weapons to play together. You look at some individual games that our players have had. It's impressive, some numbers that have been put up, but there's not the consistency that you need from a game-to-game standpoint. And so that's what we get. Again, experience on offense, one-on-one, but we've got to get experience playing as a team.
When you have athletes like Whitney Frazier and Keila Shelton, I mean, that's got to be the offensive numbers you're probably talking about.
Definitely, and I think you go on down the line, each player has something they're very skilled at on the offensive end. But again, they may win a one-on-one game, but we don't win any games as a team. And so the message we've been preaching is the family always comes before the player. The family comes before me, any coach. And so that has to be a mentality on the offensive end, just like defensive end in every aspect of the game.
Tyler, anytime you're trying to change a culture, sometimes it's maybe easier if you don't have as many kids that have been in the system for 3 years. You've got 5 seniors. How has that experience? Has it been a positive, or has it been one of those things where you've got kids that have played here for 3 years and it's a little tougher to change?
Well, I think that's a great question. There are pros and cons to having 5 seniors. One thing is they've already been in college for 3 years, so they maybe have some habits that don't fit with our system, whether those are good or bad. And so you have to break those habits. It might be easier with a freshman or sophomore, and they're sort of new to college. They're still figuring things out. They're new to college basketball. But at the same time, the leadership that we're getting, especially from our 3 captains, Savannah Langston, Kenedra Andrews, and Whitney Frazier, is great. And then Keela Shelton and Christasia Walter finishing out those 5 seniors. We're expecting them to lead us.
How key have your 2 transfers been? I know they can't play this year, but they know the culture that you're trying to instill.
I think Ashley Santos and Brooke Pomeroy have been great for our culture. They have a lot of things that they need to work on as well, and so I can tell you they didn't go through a practice like we did this morning at Marquette. It's just a different style. It's a different culture, and so even though they had to raise it up in the physicality aspect and staying in the stands for a long time, I think they're doing well, and they're fitting in with those seniors and helping lead the team.
How has it helped you just being not that much older than the players just to develop rapport with them?
Well, one of the first things I told them was that I wasn't going to be their friend. They have 12,000 students here at Louisiana Tech that can be their friend. You know, our assistant coaches can be more of their friends than me, but I can relate to them on that level. Just coming out of college myself, playing myself, you know, the things we went through today, I went through with Conzo Martin a few years ago. And so I knew when they would get tired or when you see that look on their face or whatever drill it may be, I'm not asking them to do anything I haven't done. And so I think being so fresh in my mind, my playing days, it definitely helps.
How would you characterize this morning's practice as far as were you pleased with what you saw for day number 1?
On this morning's practice, nobody dropped out, nobody quit. So from that aspect, it was good. We had to push through. You know, but again, out of those practices, you just want to see somebody get to their breaking point and then push through. And then that breaking point's even further along. And then you get to the other breaking point and you push through. And you're just training your mind to dominate your body. You train your mind to say no. And when the body says quit, the mind says no, I'm going to keep going. We've got to get that before we get anything else. We've got to get that every single possession.